Hello students, welcome to KENE'S Educare, a group of KENE solutions. This is part 5 of lesson number 13, Why Do We Fall Ill? So, in this part of the lesson, we are going to study the further parts that we are left with, where we will be discussing about infectious and non-infectious diseases. We will be learning about infectious agents, which are the reason because of which the disease keep on spreading from one individual to other. Okay, now when I say infectious disease, it's like COVID. Now, every one of us have experienced the scenario of COVID and what exactly was happening during that scenario, right? Like even like if you come across a person, okay, so what will happen in that case? There are chances that you can even get that disease, right? So to prevent such cases, we had so many solutions which we were following, right? So we will be learning it more about it later, but for that I want y'all to please revise the previous part so that we can start with this infectious and non-infectious agent. Please revise it, everyone. Whatever notes you have taken in your book with respect to infectious and non-infectious agent, I want you all to please read that. I hope every one of you have started revising it. You have to revise each and every part that you have written in your book, everyone. So we started the lesson by discussing on health and its failure, and under that we discussed on the significance of health. So I want each one of you to please revise this part, like whatever information has been given on screen. After this, we discussed on the personal and the community issues. They both matter for health, right? So over here on this slide, they have tried to explain us how the community issues can also lead to mental health, right? So the definition of health is very different scientifically. Not only scientifically, it's very different, right? Where you need to be physically, socially, and mentally in a state of well-being. Then only you can say that you are healthy, right? So please go through the slide as well, everyone. I hope every one of you are revising this. the most important part, that is the 5 F's, right? So I hope you all will be able to explain it now in your own words. After this, we discussed on distinction between healthy and disease free, right? Like how can you distinguish like you being healthy or you being disease free is different, right? So I want you all to please go through it. After this, like after discussing the distinction between being healthy and being disease free, we discussed on the disease and its causes, where we like studied in detail about what exactly the disease look like, right? Because like if I'm having a headache, I can't conclude that I am having any disease or I'm suffering from any disease, right? So we need to have, there's a pathway that we follow, right? So here we have the signs and symptoms on the next slide. But before that, I want you all to please go through this quickly. After this, we discussed on like what does disease look like. Yeah, over here we have the discussion on symptoms and signs, like what are symptoms and what are signs, right? When like headache is going to be your symptom, and when you go and tell that to your physician or your doctor, he is going to come up with certain signs, and like he's going to tell you to go and have a lab test done, right? Like there are different lab tests which have been performed on the basis of the signs that he finds out, right? And then you can conclude that you're suffering from any disease. So please go through this slide as well. After this, we discussed about the acute and the chronic disease. So now you know that acute disease is the one which lasts for a very short time. Like if you have common cold or fever, you know that it's going to last for a short time, and like it will be cured after some days, right? And when it comes to chronic diseases are the one which last for a very long time. Like if somebody suffers from cancer, it can even last for a lifetime. Okay, another example is of elephantiasis. This is also, you can say, one of the example of chronic diseases. Okay, so please go through this slide as well, everyone, about the acute and the chronic disease. After this, we discussed on the chronic disease and the poor health. So now, as you know, that chronic disease can even last for lifelong, like lifetime, right? So if a person is suffering from this chronic, like any of the chronic disease, the immunity of the person will get destroyed, like it will become very weak. You can't use the term destroyed, okay? The immunity of the person will become very weak, because of which, like you can say, poor health is going to be an ultimate thing which is going to happen to that person, right? So chronic disease and poor health, it goes hand in hand. So I hope you all are going through the slide. After this chronic and poor health, we discussed on the causes of diseases, and I want each one of you to please go through it quickly. I hope you all are going through the causes of disease, because we had discussed this in the last session itself, right? So it's very fresh to you. Please revise it quickly. Then after this causes of diseases, we had more point over here like we discussed on the same water was been given to two different babies, but one of the baby whose immunity was weak, he suffered from the disease, whereas the other two who were strong enough, they didn't, right? So what was the reason behind this? We found out that, right? So I want you all to please go through this slide as well. After this, I hope you all are going through it, because after this we will be starting with the part that we need to study today, right? After this, we have infectious and non-infectious causes to discuss in detail, right? So see, as we have seen, it is important to keep public health and community health factors in mind when we think about causes of disease, because we already studied about the different causes of disease, and there were different factors with respect to like community health, like social factors play a very important role, right? So we know that we need to keep all the factors together when we think about the causes of disease. So we can take that approach a little further, because it is going to be useful to think of the immediate causes of disease as belonging to two distinct types. Okay, because we have to come up with that, like what are the immediate causes of disease, right? So for that, One group of causes infectious agent, and this infectious agent, they are mostly going to be microbes or microorganisms. What are they going to be? They are going to be microbes or microorganisms. And diseases where microbes are the immediate cause, they are called as infectious disease, because we know that microbes are the one who are causing this disease. So we know that the immediate, what is causing this disease is microbes. So that in that case we call that as infectious disease, and this is because the microbes can spread in the community and the disease they cause will spread with them. The bestest example is of COVID. We know that the virus was spread, and because of which what happened, the disease was spread, like the disease has spread in the community, it was spread worldwide, right? Because of which many people died as well. So microbes can spread in the community and they are spreading the disease. This is the one group of cause. On the other hand, there are also diseases that are not caused by infectious agents. So some of the diseases are not been caused by infectious agents. There are many other reasons. Okay, there are some external causes because of which that microbe is getting spread in the community, and these are mostly internal causes, and we know that cause as non-infectious cause. What do we know that cause as? Non-infectious cause. For example, some cancers are caused by genetic abnormalities, right? Because it wasn't the gene of that child or it wasn't the gene of that human, cancer has occurred to that because of the genetic abnormalities, right? High blood pressure, we know that cannot be caused like because of the community, right? So high blood pressure can be caused by excessive weight and lack of exercise. If we are not exercising and the weight is increasing, in case you're becoming you can say, if you are becoming obese, your weight is increasing, so in that case also it can be non-infectious disease, right? So the way in which the disease is spreading and the way in which they can be treated and prevented at the community level will be different for all the different diseases, because the means of spread for all the diseases is going to be different, and the way in which they are getting spreaded, okay, is different, and the way you are preventing it is also different. So this would depend a lot on whether the immediate causes are infectious or they are non-infectious. Okay. So I hope you all are writing this part in your book. I hope you all are writing this part on infectious and non-infectious agent, and I hope you have understood this part on infectious and non-infectious causes as well, right? So after this, the next part that we have is about the infectious agent that we will be discussing on. But before that, please write this. So here we have some of the pictures on infectious diseases, on which we have smallpox, measles, herpes, and swine flu. So these are some of the examples of infectious disease. See, like when a person suffers from measles, herpes, or swine flu, this is how it looks like. And we know that swine flu occurs through pig, right? If you are in interaction with a pig, swine flu like can it was mostly spread in the year 2015-16. At that time it was like COVID itself, because of which even I got some leaves from my school because it was spreading very much. Okay, so just write these examples of infectious diseases in your book, everyone. Then after this, the next thing that we have is infectious agents. So we have seen that the entire diversity seen in the living world can be classified into few groups, right? You might have studied about the diversity in life. We had that lesson where we had five different kingdoms like Kingdom Monera, Kingdom Protista, Kingdom Animalia, Kingdom Fungi, and Kingdom Plantae. So we know that there is so much diversity that is existing, right? So this classification is based on common characteristics between different organisms. What it is based on? Common characteristics which is existing between different organisms, and the organism that can cause disease. They are found in a wide range of such categories of classification. So some of them can be viruses, some can be bacteria, fungi, and some can even be some single-celled animals or protozoans. Okay, so some diseases are also been caused by multicellular organisms like worms of different kinds. Okay, so I want you all to please go through it quickly. I hope you all are writing this info in your book. So sorry. Now here we have some microscopic picture which are been given over here. See, first picture is of SARS virus, okay, coming out of the surface of an infected cell. So the white scale line that you can see in the picture, it represents 500 nanometers, which is half a micrometer and 1,000 of millimeter. Okay, you don't have to know all this thing which has been given. Just remember that this is how the SARS virus look like. Okay. After this, we have this. Let's see. Here we had SARS virus, Staphylococci, Trypanosoma. Then we have Leishmania and adult roundworm. This is how they look like. Okay. So now I'll be discussing about all of them in the next class. But make sure whatever we discussed with respect to infectious and non-infectious diseases and about the infectious agent, you are very much clear with it. Okay. So I'll be starting with all this part, then we will be discussing on means of spread of disease, how exactly the disease spread from one individual to other. So we'll be discussing on this means of spread. Then we'll discuss on organ specific and tissue specific manifestations in detail, where we will be discussing on different types of diseases and how exactly the tissues and organs, they like they are the one which is having an impact on your body, right? Then after that we will be discussing on the principles of treatment in detail. Okay, and after discussing the principles of treatment, I am going to discuss on the principle of prevention part as well. Okay, then after principle of prevention, we'll discuss on immunization in detail. Okay, so immunization is a very important part for us. Then after immunization, we will have the summary discussion for the whole lesson. Why do we fall ill? So we'll be discussing the summary over here, and then we have few exercise questions, okay, that I'm going to show you now, but we will be discussing them as well. So make sure that you're knowing, like you're understanding the lesson and you are able to write the lesson in your own words as well, because that is what I want from you all. Okay. Okay, then like there are six exercise questions that I told you. Please go through the question, because you are the one who's going to help me with the answers later, right? So this is how we will be ending up with the lesson, with the whole lesson, right? So I want each one of you to please revise each and everything that we have studied so far, okay? So I'll be starting with the rest of the part in the next class. Thank you everyone.